And welcome to another episode of Deal Talk. I'm Deal. Let's talk. My guest of the evening is coming all the way from Slovenia. She's a content creator, and she helps everyone with advertisement and promoting their social media. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Erika. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you so much. Hi, Dio. I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Please, before we start, please pronounce your last name so everybody can know. I just didn't want to botch it or say it incorrectly out of respect.
No worries. I know I have a difficult name. My name is Erika Plepyté.
There you have
I'm
it, ladies and gentlemen.
originally from Lithuania, and in Lithuania we have quite difficult last names. First names, not so much, but last names they tend to be quite difficult to pronounce.
Well, thank you for sharing. We totally admire you for that. And no worries, we'll get it right. I'm looking through your content, your content creator, but you also help others grow their social media platforms. So before we get into the aspect of how you help everyone, what inspired you to start this journey?
I was thinking actually when the original idea came to me to start my own business. And I remember when I just started studying, um, our tutor used to say, this is what happens at the corporate, but if you have your own business, and I remember at the time thinking, oh, having my own business must be something so difficult, so hard. I might not, have my own business. But then actually, time, experience, later on roles that I had, they all kind of kept um, leading me to, well, not exactly leading me, but it kept giving me thoughts about business, about my own business. And I think the very first one came to me when I was working at a corporate job. And I think many of other listeners might agree with me as well that at certain jobs, you do feel like you're a number, just a number, and how easily you can be replaced. And, even when you ask for promotions, you do your job great and you give all yourself there, and they don't promote you, they don't give you trainings and things like that. And when something happens, you're very easy to be replaced. I think those were the first thoughts that came to me, that I don't want to be just a number. And I kept having those thoughts, but I think at the time I didn't know what to do and how to start it. And then I joined social media agency, and then I was convinced. At first, it was a great experience, great learning curve, but after some time, you kind of settle in. There's no more for you to develop, and you kind of start analyzing things around you, how things are done, and I started noticing gaps. And I was like, oh, I would do this differently. Oh, I would approach this type of client differently. I would do a different strategy for them because it doesn't really align with their needs. So I started seeing those gaps, and it kind of led me even further to start working on my own, which was what I did. I became a freelancer. So I started freelancing, and that was the moment when I felt what it's like to completely work on your own terms, even discuss with clients. And also it gave me the opportunity to learn how to talk to clients, how to ask the right questions, and also to get a taste of what it's like to, know exactly what you offer, and talk to people and understand what they want, what they need, and then deliver that, instead of giving that kind of copy paste strategy,
Mhm.
nearly copy paste content, and things like that, like not paying attention fully to the client, what they are telling you, what they want. And yeah, I think this was what kind of completely pushed me to start my own business.
How long have you been doing it so far?
I've been freelancing for 2 years, but now I have my business for a year. So in total, I'd say maybe 3 years if you count that experience as
Yeah.
well. So
So you're like me. You're at that peak and where it'll make it or break it, right? Because I made my 3 year mark now in January, right? And that's where it could go either way. You have time invested and where you have learned a lot, gained a lot of experience through trials and error, and you have built either a reputation or a catalog with customers. So you're at that sweet mark. It's all up to you if you keep going or you're staying. It could go either way. But
Yeah,
kudos to you. I respect that. Keep doing it. I was in the same boat as you, and we're like, I got tired of working these corporates, trying to go up the, you know, climb the corporate ladder, get raises, and it's always either politics or it's just, it's too much and the money's not worth it.
yeah. I think the higher the position you hold, the more you see, if it makes sense, and
Mm-hmm.
the more you don't like it, and the more you
Mm-hmm.
kind of want to escape it. I think when it goes to that point, you also become truly scared at the same time because you see what's happening, how other people, for example, are getting into certain positions, not necessarily based on their experience. And then again, you see things differently at a
Yeah.
higher level. And I think it also at the same time encourages you to, I don't want this. I want, different things. I want to have different values, and all these things. And I think it's also beneficial that, same as in your experience and also in mine, to actually see that, experience that. I think it also kind of shapes us as well
Mm-hmm.
when we make our own business.
Yeah, I
Like the
do.
way we talk to clients, the way we even hire assistants to help us. We look at different things than those, uh, let's say, certain roles at the corporate jobs.
Yeah. I remember as an employee, I feel like when my first job that I went up to upper management and became management, I feel like I was in politics. And where I would discuss with people, have this conversation with people, tell me what you need, I'll go and be a vocal, I'll speak for you. And then it became something like that, like politics, and we're like, now they were voting me each of that position without me asking or wanting it. Now, next thing you know, I'm in this position, being a candidate, being looked, being interviewed, and then now being an actual manager, running the property, running the facility, running 50 plus employees, right? And then when I get there, I feel like, all right, let's fight the power. Let's fix things. And I see this dynamic, and we're like, you can't really fix anything. There's things you see, you're all this time in the front room, but you haven't seen what's in the back room. Is where financing, budgeting, trials and error, complaints, uh, quality of task and works, and seeing how everything is moving and like understanding, okay, I see why you say this about this person, or you look around this person, but also like I also see where you're falling short. And it's like when you get there, you just realize you just can't do nothing about it. You just gotta take your check, do the best as you can, and hopefully be like us, try to start something new for ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, this is painfully true, actually. And I think the saddest part is um, when you just get promoted, let's say, and when you go exactly, to the position you always dreamt of. It's all, as I like to say, nice and flowers when you go to the trainings, you get to dress nicely as well. But it's also painful, like you said, when you go there and you're like, I will make a difference. I can see the problems. I can see what everyone is struggling with, all team members. And I want to help them. I want to fix this. And when you kind of go into that clash with management and they're like, this is how it's done, this is how it's been done, and this is how it will be done. And as you said, you truly see that the people you want to help, you find yourself on their side because some changes are absolutely necessary. But when the clashes with the management, you kind of your hands are tied, like you can't do anything, and it's just painful. Like I think it hurts you every single time you watch, those scenarios. Let's say when there's something wrong with workload for certain team members, and you can see some improvement that can make everyone's life easy. And when you find yourself on the side of the team members, it becomes even more difficult every single day. And I think all you can see is those problems and that they cannot be fixed, and people keep asking you. And sometimes you don't even know what to tell because more things when you go to the office. And yeah, I think otherwise, unless you have the same kind of even mindset as some, I'm not saying that every single management level is bad. There are management teams that are absolutely amazing and they're crushing it, like they're doing it perfectly and everyone is happy and they're very productive. But sometimes there are groups of management, of people, managers who they have different mindset. They kind of give that block. I'm in management position, you are, let's say, a team member, and like they won't interact with you as much and they won't kind of think of a way of making your workload, your work better, faster, more productive, easier for you. And unless you kind of force yourself into the same mindset, then you will be okay. But otherwise, sometimes you can actually suffer.
Yeah, yeah. I think especially if, like you're a person that wants more. This is why you
Oh
started your
yeah.
own business. You want it more. And not just, materialistic stuff, but more for yourself. You want to live a good, content life. And, sometimes working a 9 to 5, if you have nothing to look forward to, it's just, it's a revolving door that is the same thing. It's endless.
Yeah, and it's also discouraging. I remember the position that I joined was more like management, but it was like assistant manager. And oh God, I took every opportunity to go into marketing. If there was a celebration, I was the first there to volunteer. I can design the menus. I can change this. I can do the posters. So give
Initiative.
me, yeah, I took God. I prepared for every single event during that time I was there. Christmas, Valentine's Day, Diwali, Easter, everything, all the celebrations. I did everything I could. And I think the best part of it was seeing in the morning when I go there and when I see people appreciating and being happy and taking pictures of the things that I did, it truly uplifted me. And I had these examples. These are the things that I did. These are the reactions I got. And the more I kind of try to go to more into marketing, even designing, like I said, templates, something, posting on social media, always I had doors closed. And when you have that creativity inside of you, it can become very difficult. And I remember I was so focused, like I want to go to marketing and I will do everything I can at this job to relate it somehow to marketing. I learned myself during my when I got back home from work, I learned how to use Photoshop in the hard way. Instead of watching tutorials and things, I just went there and explored the app and I spent hours. And as you said, especially if you want more, it can become difficult when you show the initiative, you do everything you can, but simply the door is closed. And yeah, there are a lot of things. Someone else, wants the promotion or gets the promotion, not necessarily for the right reasons. So it can be discouraging.
But you started your own business. So, in what ways can you help customers? Like for me, example, I'm a media company, right? Dream Inspired Obtain, hence the background. Created this product called Deal Talk. So it has to create something in where it can help narrow up the company. So like I'm always trying to find new ways to, I don't know, build myself up, go viral on media, on social media, get myself out there. What are some things that you can help, taking me as an example, right? So people can understand that what you do to help increase their followers.
So the very first thing, well, there are two aspects that I focus on. So one is of course growth, and the second one is, I think this goes where with together with my experience. I listen to people, what they want, how they want it, and I think especially the best example was um, when I was working for an agency. They had this client who they were quite shy on social media, and the engagement that needed to be done, of course, likes, comments, and also it included DMs. However, the client didn't feel comfortable logging in every single time on Instagram and seeing comments and replies to comments that they didn't make. And I think in this case, the situation could have been resolved slightly adjusting the strategy for growth, but they didn't do that. And at the end, they actually lost the client because, again, they didn't listen. And this is where I thought this is where I need to step in to listen how they want to grow, what's their agenda, basically what they want. Because when it comes to social media, it's about you, um, how you want to be seen, how you want to be visible to the audience. So my very first approach would be, if I take you as a client, what you want from social media, how you want to be seen, how you want to be heard, what are your goals. So basically focusing on you. And of course, I'm always there to support and say, okay, this is what you can do to grow your Instagram in this case. I'm always there to give recommendations and build kind of personalized growth strategy that will help you grow, but also it is a strategy that fits you, your needs, your values, and also your vision.
So it's you can tailor it, you can customize it towards the client's need, which is very important. Like myself, I'm
Yeah,
very everything I've done so far is just me. Like yet again, jumping into that creativity, figuring out how I like things, how I want things, because I'm I want to say I'm not your average person, right? So I don't want a lot when I've spoken in the past with individuals who do the same work as you, they already have a template. They had a certain thing, criteria, and it didn't work for me because the way I see is you're selling an image, but you're not selling me. Like at the end of the day,
yeah, absolutely.
the the true definition of somebody who's an influencer is because this person can be attached to any brand and help that brand grow. But if you're
Yeah,
attaching yourself to a template, you're not building a brand. You're just building a template, and you're not really building yourself because it's not you. You're not connecting. I mean, in my
yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think something that I see online happening from other social media specialists, the gurus and experts, the way they like to describe themselves, it's very easy to tell to someone who is a startup business owner who is struggling to stay consistent online, and they want help from someone to help them, to coach them how to, improve their social media presence. And they simply give them tips like, you need to do 3 reels a day or 2 reels a day for 7 days a week or 5 days a week. You need to do this, you need to do engagement for half an hour, you need to do that. And for someone who is just starting, you give all these things straight away. And also in many cases, these business owners are camera shy as well. Uh, they don't think what will happen, because in this case, when you give someone these tasks, they will not do it because it will be simply too overwhelming. They don't know how to even do it. It's easy to say do engagement for half an hour, but it's also important to remember that your clients, they might not know these terms that we are very familiar with.
Hmm.
And without proper explanation how it looks like, it's very difficult for them to do. And also when it comes to the posting 2 reels a day, someone is camera shy, they never done it before, they're asking for your help and you're telling them to post 2 reels. Do you know how stressful it is? They will postpone this task to at the end of the day. Okay, it's too late, I will do it tomorrow. But tomorrow arrives, oh, I need to do this. And then the same thing, the creation of those videos will go to the evening, and then the next day they simply avoid it, and there will be no success. And instead, it's better to again understand their level, understand their needs, and help them to achieve that level gradually. So instead of saying you need to post every single day 2 reels, for example, it's better to build up a habit. For example, start posting 3 times a week for 2 weeks, for example, or for a month. You get used to it, increase it. And then start, if you're camera shy, start posting only pictures, so for example, of yourself. That, ask a friend to take a picture, post it online, post a second picture. You build up that confidence, then you will naturally want to do a video. So this way, you're kind of guiding the client in a stress-free way how to become more consistent and better in social media, instead of giving everything all at once. You need to do this, and they feel lost and they feel scared and they feel overwhelmed because they don't know how to do it. And you just give more pressure and more stress about social media, and at the end they just simply hate. Oh, they're like, I absolutely hate Instagram, it doesn't work for me. or I hate Facebook, it doesn't work for me, and all these things. And I think it's very wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Like, is it in order for you to like start getting views and get some type of connection, do you have to do what, how do I say this? Do you have to do what everybody else does? Because I see people constantly repeating same videos, but doing it their way. I'm not sure. Am I making sense?
Yeah,
Like somebody does let's say a skit, a comedy skit, I don't know, singing with a toothbrush as a mic, right? And then you'll see this repetitive cycle when other people are doing the same thing. It's like a trend. And then I see them doing the same thing and they start getting attracted. And it kind of frustrates me because I don't want, like, for me personally, I don't want to fall in that same category as everybody else doing the same thing. So is that like a make it or break it for somebody trying to grow their social media, in your opinion?
I have seen accounts who are, for example, starting and they're like, I want to go viral, and they are creating. I think another thing to ask yourself is if you're jumping on that trend just to go viral and you're singing in a toothbrush, think about your ideal client. How would they react if, let's say, you are a um, finance advisor who's singing into a toothbrush on Instagram reel? Ask yourself, do you look reliable? Do you look professional? Would they want to work with you? I think that's also, again, it goes to the same category. Do you want to be seen? And what kind of um, impression are you leaving your ideal client? And instead of, I think, going after all those viral hacks, buying followers to grow on Instagram, it's way better to focus on. I stand for organic growth, and also when you build connections, those, like when you make conversations, when you leave comments, when you engage in DMs, like when you start chatting, people become loyal to you. They enjoy talking to you. They enjoy at the same time seeing your content, and they are leaving comments. They are engaging to your posts, to your quizzes, engaging with your content. And I think when you compare this, it's way more important to have that loyal, engaging, and absolutely amazing community who loves to see your posts and talk to you, and even wants to know how your day was, how your holiday was. I think this way you're leaving way better impression on people than going viral, singing on, well, not exactly going viral. It doesn't guarantee that if you follow these types of trends, it doesn't guarantee that you will go viral. It can even end up you have 20 videos, 20 reels that you completely follow the trend. You're not expressing yourself, you're copying everyone else. And at the end, let's say your ideal client or people you made like um, communication, you created a beautiful conversation. When they go to your profile and they see you singing in a toothbrush, for example, um, you kind of can give mixed signals
Feelings.
at the
Yeah.
same time. So yeah, mixed feelings.
Like for me, like I started not too long ago because I it's difficult for me to be that engaged because I'm scheduling guests, I'm looking for guests, I'm editing the footage, I'm editing to what information goes into the footage, to platforms uploading. I'm doing all these things and it's very time consuming. It's very stressful, right? So, uh, I AI came out with this tool called Opus app, and where you upload clips, comes out, and it helps you put clips out there to people start getting. But even that right there is just, I feel like something's missing. It's just, all creating all this it's overwhelming. And I'm sure you have felt that way in your business, especially being you, a sole person, managing it, building it. It gets hectic. How have you been able to manage yourself going through all those things?
For me, uh, the best tip that I perhaps took on was use timers. It's very easy to, oh, it's just a bit. another bit. Let's say if
Mhm.
I'm creating content and the deadline I have is for, let's say, 4 days, and I'm like, it will be my ideal if I, my ideal job completed for today if I complete this. And then you spend another 20 minutes, and then you go, let's say you do your engagement, and then you catch yourself also, like when you don't have the time, or you catch yourself scrolling through something funny, for example. So you kind of go off the topic, go off the road, and then you spend another 10 minutes and you're like, oh, when did I start doing engagement? I don't remember what did I do or for how long I did this. But when you start planning everything for time, so for example, I will engage in Facebook groups for half an hour and you set timer, you have only half an hour to do this task. So it also gives you different kind of motivation, and you stay focused because you have half an hour. There are a lot of things for you to do, a lot of comments, let's say, to reply, and you don't kind of go, sideways. You are focused to the task that you're doing. And for me personally, timers, they work like charm.
No,
I plan my tasks with time because I know how much time I need to create content. So for example, I know how much time I need to create 30 posts, 20 posts. I know how long I need to do the engagement, or I know how many comments I have to reply. And I always write time. And this truly helps me to plan my day and um, stay on track with my time management and task management.
that's wonderful. I definitely need to do start doing some of that because I'm the person that like, all right, I'm gonna go do this. I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to come back. I don't want to. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't like extending time more than I have to. I
Yeah,
just it's not
same.
just I just get agitated. um,
Yeah,
you're also a photographer into photography, right?
love it.
How's that has that been able to be another addition uh going into your business and add on that maybe you can monetize out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, first of all, photography started off as a hobby completely. However, when I wanted to move to social media, I started growing my own photography pages using two different strategies, which helped me to identify what's working and what's not working, what are the basically the good side and the bad side of it. And I now started integrating my hobby, my photography, into even social media. And currently, I have beta testing course, and I even included in one of the modules for the content creation, like photography tips, how to make better images for your Instagram feed. And you know, I got feedback. Um, how helpful it was for people, and some little tricks, for example, um, even crafting little things, like staying focused, how to take the right angles, how to even, hold your phone. And I think this is extremely helpful as well because Instagram is very visual, and it also gives me that kind of advantage as well because I'm into photography and I can also give tips when it comes to creating layouts. So, for example, making sure you have the same preset. It's called preset, but another word, I think it would be the most simple term to explain filter. So you have the same filter across your images, so it falls nicely on your layout. And I think it's also fun at the same time when I can help others to create or create for them the design. But when it comes to taking pictures, I can also give them advice. Do this, try this. Why don't you do this, for example, or even share examples. And I think these two areas they align very well together, and especially since I integrated in the course, it was so fun to even include pictures, the ones that I have. Um, Even my friends took pictures of me, and I even used some of them as examples of not to do. So, like, hey, here you can see someone cropped my legs completely, like my feet, and you should avoid that. Or when someone else is photographing you, for example, what works like a charm as well. Very simple tip. Um, if you have for example, if you have an idea of the picture that you would like to have, take a picture of them and then show them. This is how I want you to photograph me, for example. So you
Hmm.
show them, for example, a little towards the ankle, or let's say you want a portrait photo, whatever it is, but a very simple tip.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Um, in this transition, as you because you've entered in some form of entrepreneurship, right? We're in 2024. It's a major word because a lot of people are just doing it and slowly converting into that entrepreneur mindset. How happy are you?
Very currently, I'm in Slovenia. I get to travel. I get to work on my own terms, and when I compare my life to what it was when I was working for a corporate job, I didn't exercise. I didn't exactly eat the right food even. I for sure I didn't sleep well. I used to sleep for like 6 hours, and now since I became business owner, um, I got to, schedule my time the way I want. So sometimes I can even do appointments. So even my appointments, they don't get late, especially when you're working for a corporate. You can't get the day off. And I plan my time the way I want. I also have more time to take better care of myself, which again includes better eating, exercising. Since I started, my own business, well, became a freelancer 3 years ago. I properly started exercising, and now it's been like 3 years that I exercise 4 to 5 times a week, which is something I'm very proud. And I also sleep way better, 7 to 8 hours instead of 6, and sometimes even that was poor quality. And I think truly, when I look now how it has changed, I am happier. I get to spend more time with my family. I used to work in UK. My family was in Lithuania, and it was sometimes very painful, especially I have a little brother, and whenever I used to fly back to UK, oh God, there were so many tears. And it's not like that anymore. Now I get to travel. So now I'm in Slovenia. I even lived in Norway for a month. I think it's the beauty, it's the benefit, and it's the life that I'm enjoying.
I think that's the most important part. I think that's the most
What
important
about
part.
you?
Um, I was in the same thing. My son is on the spectrum. He's autism. So at that time when he got diagnosed, I was still working for corporate, and it made it very difficult because I was never home. Like I said, I started as an assistant manager. Now I'm operation manager. I'm managing 20 to 25, 30, even 50 sites, different sites around the state of New Jersey, because I'm located in New Jersey. Um, different dealing with different types of people, some good, some bad, some irritable, and it's quickly got burned out because as soon as I thought, okay, I could take a deep breath, something else occurred over here. A lot of driving, and I was never home. I wasn't doing what made me happy. I didn't know what made me happy. I started this company, Dream Aspire Attain, as a lifestyle brand, and where people like us, people who have dreams, who are trying to inspire, but at the same time obtain our goals. You know, and I didn't know what to do, so I quickly thought, okay, so maybe I'll start a clothing brand. But how can you start something when nobody knows about it? So I invested money in machinery to print shirts to excel in my brand, but nobody was buying. Nobody was interesting. As much as I threw it out there, nobody was supporting. So I took that machinery and then started printing apparel for other people. Jobs, especially more like companies, contracting company, landscaping companies. That's how I make a profit. Then I had to go back to work corporal. And then, pandemic hit and I'm out of a job once again. And I said I always enjoyed radio and talking to people about meaningful conversations, something that matters. Then I started the podcast, and has an up and downs when it comes to monetizing because it's just it's so many people doing it, and they're doing it for either the right or wrong reason. Whether they're just doing it to trying to find to make money, but they're not doing it because it's a passion. or they love it or they enjoy it, right? So like you have people just doing episodes and just over how would I say, like overflowing the community of the industry of podcasting, and we're like nothing is really stable. So you have individuals like myself that are trying to build a career value and grow with this, and then you have others who just do it as I'm gonna do this, but then stop, or I'm gonna do this just for the money, or they go on the that niche, that flow, because like real estate is big over here. So like everybody will start a podcast about real estate, then stop, or start about music, then stop, or start something about based on opinion, but stop. And it's just really generalized conceptions, not really valuable information. Like here, I'm talking to you, you're Pennsylvania, had somebody from Australia, had the other person from Wales, different types of individual telling their story, but also talking about what they're doing, their entrepreneurship, telling that, it's difficult, but I'm doing this. So it's been a lot of that in this past 3 years. And it's just, every now and then I'll join forces with my wife. We do real estate, make some money, but still doing this. I'll go get a part-time job, make some money, pay some bills, but still doing this. Because this is my dream. This is what I inspire to be. And when they obtain success and all uh, credibility and valuable source. But it takes time. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of and endless nights, because when you're your own boss, it's yeah, you make your schedule, but if you have a client who's is a big profit, they can give you a big profit, and that client is very is always calling you, very needy, very demanding. This is your business. You got to always put your best foot forward, because if you can succeed at this, you can succeed in the next client. All right. So it's a very tedious thing, but you rather do it for yourself than do it for somebody else who's not going to evaluate. How do I say this? Going to have see value in your work or appreciate you as
Yeah.
what you're trying to do.
Yeah. That's amazingly said.
In a nutshell. In a nutshell.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also very happy that, as you said, um, you stay consistent, you always show up, and if you are consistent and if you show up, you will get success. You will reach success and you will be successful. And you can't get to success without being consistent, without showing up. As you said, when you appear, then you disappear. Um, if you are there all the time, the success will be there.
Yeah. And one thing I've been learning lately, because I've always promoted excuse me, always promoted hard work and determination. How much work you're willing to put in is how far you're willing to go. But it's always hard work and determination, right? But you reach a point and where like you work so hard and you put in so much work, you reach the ceiling of that, right? And now you have to find or figure out how to win. You already know that anything you do in life, it's work. It's going to be hard. Nothing, generally a lot for I put myself in this category when I say this. We don't often have things that are handed to us. Everything is built, everything is created, everything is, sweat, tears, hard work, all that good stuff, right? So you have to develop a sense in where like, how do you win? And you gotta ask yourself, okay, what do I want to win in? Well, if you're a business, you want your business to make money and strive. So you got to take what you've learned, all the work you put in, and now, like you, find another strategy. How can I win? All right, I got this podcast. I have over 150 something episode, which each individual entrepreneur, right? These media platforms. How can I make this in a way capitalize on making money without breaking somebody's pocket? Like for me, like I want to bring back the era of um ads. and where it's free and it's ads. You get paid for your ads. I want to be accessible so that I can start creating value around myself. And then when I become a person and we're like, all I have to do is walk in and I'm already bringing value, then I can create a subscription of some sort, a subscription of some sort. And right now, if I'm uh doing a motivational talk or something, right? Example, I want to make money now. I want to make money because I'm talking, because I put in the work, I build a career, I build credibility, I created value. So this is where like, all right, I gotta start thinking how I'm gonna win. So everything it's a process, and right there in that moment, I'm at a point where like, all right, how do I win? How do I capitalize of 3 years editing, people humiliating me, people canceling on me, people not believing in me, and to a point where like last year I won an award for best podcast, last podcast radio show. People voted for me. That means I have some type of value, some type of credibility. Now I want to capitalize on that bad boy. I want to. I don't. It sounds harsh, right? But like you had to go to another place to have a career, and you're suffering because you're not have the opportunity to spend time to your family. I feel that because I'm a person who didn't grow up with my family. And now that I have a family, I want to enjoy. I want to do what I love. I want to, but I want to enjoy my wife. I want to enjoy my kids. That's why I got married, right? And now, but I want to do it now, my passion with my career. And you got to build that. So you got to figure out how are you going to win? So I'm sorry if I rambled on.
No, no, no. I agree with every single point. And also, it is true. There are long evenings. There are even weekends. It is true. And I think there are many people who get scared, but, oh, I don't want to do evenings, or what's the point of, having your own business if you have to do evenings, for example. But sometimes you need to work that weekend, so maybe you can have
Yeah.
the next weekend off. Because as you said, if you have demanding client, absolutely you might need to have 9 p.m. the meeting with them, or 10 p.m. Meeting with them, also based on the time difference. That's another story. But absolutely, and also in my case, my health was suffering whilst I was working at corporate. Um, my immune system got weakened, and that was the moment when I realized I'm so focused, as you said, working for someone else, giving all my health there. And now my top priority became my family and my health. That's why I'm investing so much, you know, everything into my quality of sleep, into exercising, because there was a breaking point when I saw that this is making more damage than good. And I truly forgot myself. And now my priority also changed. And I also think that I can be a business owner. I can do from time to time also longer hours, but I don't need to like fully sacrifice myself so that I feel, bad. I don't feel well, for example. And as you said, also it gives you, well, not exactly freedom, but you can allocate your time better, if it makes sense. You get to spend your time doing things that are important to you, but also at the same time, when you are with the people that you love, they are there to support you. They know that you're, for example, working longer today, so they will help you, they will support you, they will encourage you as well. And the thing that's also very important, and it uplifts you, and even sometimes can work even faster when you have that support truly next to you.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, those hours they're worth it because you're doing it for you. You're putting that work for you. You know how many times I've woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go see this awful property, to connect with their workers, connect with their management, try to get it flowing and become successful. Because when it comes to business, sometimes being face to face is very important. Not everything is too virtual. And no no thank you, no appreciations, long nights. You know, I worked in the cleaning industry. There were times when like myself had to clean three different floors of the building because employee quit or didn't show up. And, that time not being appreciated of or considerate of, it takes a toll. And then, like my son, the only people who really gonna remember you when you're late, working late as your kids, not this company. Like, do you have stocks in the company? Do you have shares in the company? Or you have any part of ownership in the company? These are the questions I started to ask myself in how to grow.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And also, if something happened, let's say you were stressed, um, you're not just stressed at work, it also affects you when you get home as well. You might be a little angry, you might be a little more, you know, even sensitive at the same time. You might take things differently.
Yeah.
And also, again, it affects, the relationships, but also, well, this this is the way it is. But also at the same time, I noticed sometimes people close to you, they can see things that you don't.
Hmm.
So, for example, if someone you're working with is not good for you, your manager, let's say, if they're making some kind of bad influence on you, also your closest ones. Well, it happened to me a few times,
Hmm.
and I didn't see those things, but my family members did, and they started telling me. And then there was, I remember one day when I actually sat and looked at everything from kind of different angle, different perspective. And I started seeing those bad things, and I kind of connected the dots, how that person is affecting me as a person, and how am I different than I used to be, not necessarily from the good point of view, but how it's affecting me, and I'm not being me anymore. And I think also that when it comes to like close ones, I think that's also very important. Not only the support, but also their opinion when because they are the first ones to see.
And those, like, for me, like, I at a certain point, I don't know. Do you know what a gangster is? At a certain point with these employees, I had to become a gangster with them. Follow the nines, not do anything radical, but let them know. And, like, I had one of my last employments. She was a female CEO, and I worked very closer with her. And at some point, I started to realize my worth. And you're not telling me, but I'm gonna act like I know. I'm gonna outshine you. I'm gonna act like I know, and it's gonna bother you. But it's all about respect. You can't respect somebody who doesn't respect you. So I remember
Yeah.
the last conversation I had with her. She told me that I had this basically can't uh gangster mentality when it came to insight, when it came to private conversations, not in front of a client. And it's basically you are correct because if you're not going to respect me, I'm not going to respect you. And at that time, I started developing like this is just another job, and you gotta be the first one to respect yourself. Always put yourself first, and then put people in a predicament, help people accountable. Because if not, they're gonna take you advantage of you. If not, they're gonna take another person advantage, and at some point of form, you have to let them know this is not gonna happen. This is my job. This is where I come here to do this, this, and this. I clock in this time. I clock out this time. I'm in, I'm out. Nothing more, nothing less. And if you understand that, you get that, in your business, you're going to be a monster. You're going to grow because you know your worth. You know where you're willing to go. You know what you're willing to do. You understand the drastic measures. And sometimes I'm going to sleep and sometimes I'm not. But you got this.
Yeah. Well said.
Um, Before we go, please tell the people where they can find you at.
You can find me, of course, as I mentioned many times, Instagram. So I'm always on Instagram, marketing with Erika, also on Facebook, Erika Plepyté, and at the same time on LinkedIn as well.
Boom. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Go follow her, go support her, go hit her up, go ask her for her service. If you're somebody looking to grow their audience, but also create some value content, go hit her up. As you can see, she knows what she's doing. But before we go, please go to YouTube. Go follow, go like and subscribe our YouTube channel, Deal Talk TV. Go follow me on Instagram at Mr.DreamInspireObtain. Go check out my store, dreaminspireobtain.com. Go buy some merch. Change it coming soon, but until then, go buy my merch. I'm out, guys. Have a good night.